Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2017. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute, Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today is commemorated as World Hippo Day. On February 15, celebrates the extraordinary hippopotamus and encourages people to take action to prevent its extinction. Before 1909, scientists placed hippos in the same group as pigs. Despite their outward similarities with pigs or wild boars, hippopotamuses are closely related to whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Hippos are semi-aquatic animals, mammals that are native to sub-Saharan Africa. They are herbivores and can weigh up to 2,000 kgs, making them the third largest land mammal after elephants and rhinos. Hippos are primarily found in rivers, lakes, and mangrove swamps. Hippos are thought to have originated from a group of semi-aquatic animals called Vippomorpha. This group later split into two branches around 54 million ago. The first branch, which includes the whales and dolphins, evolved to become complete aquatic cetaceans. The second branch became Anthracotheres, a close ancestor of the common hippo. During the Pliocene epoch, over 200 million years ago, all branches of the Anthracotheres went extinct, except those that evolved into Hippopotamidae. This group of hippo ancestors migrated to Africa around 35 million years ago and dominated the continent as one of the earliest large mammals. Between 16 and 8 million years ago, the oldest known hippopotamide, Kenyapotamus, thrived in the African continent, but the group that later evolved into modern hippo was Archaeopotamus, which lived between 7.5 and 1.8 million years ago in Africa and the Middle East. There were ancestors of the hippo in Europe and the British Isles before the last glaciation, including the European hippopotamus antiquus, and Hippopotamus major and Hippopotamus gorgops. But these species of hippos went extinct, and the exact reason is still unknown, although scientists hypothesize it might be because of man. Ancestors of European hippos migrated to many Mediterranean islands during the Pleistocene evolved and later became extinct. These species of hippos include Cyprus dwarf hippopotamus, Hippopotamus petlandi, Hippopotamus meltensis, and Hippopotamus kreutzbergi between 50,000 and 16,000 years ago. All hippos in the subcontinent Eurasia went extinct. In North America, there were Athracotheriid genera in early Oligocene over 23 million years ago, but no evidence of hippos has been ever found on the continent. Many attempts have been made to introduce the species into the US, but they have never been successful. That was until Pablo Escobar illegally imported 4 hippos to Colombia in the late 1980s. This population of hippos has since grown to about 100. So the ancestor of the hippo splits into 2 branches, with one branch evolving to become hippopotamide around 60 million years ago, which marks the evolution of the hippo. The US Senate nearly passes a bill to import the hippo to control water hyacinth and help solve the American meat crisis, an attempt to import the hippo in 1910. Pablo Escobar imports 4 hippos from New Orleans to his estate in Hacienda Naples, Medellin, Colombia. Marks a successful importation of the hippo in 1980s. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists the hippo as vulnerable species on its red list in 2006. Hippos spend 16 hours out of 24 hours in a day submerged in water to keep their vast bodies cool. Hence the name hippopotamus, meaning river horse in Greek. At night, the hippo leaves the water to feed on grasses. Hippos are vital to African rivers and lakes. Their solid waste provides the ecosystem with a vast amount of nutrients and helps certain fish species to thrive. While the hippo skin is about 2 inches thick, a bullet can still pierce their skin if shot at their torso. However, you can say that they are almost bullet resistant. This is definitely the best way to celebrate on this World Hippopotamus Day or World Hippo Day. There are several places where you can see a hippo. You can go to a zoo near you and check out the hippo exhibit. Also, you can travel to one of the many African safaris. Many tour companies are available that specialize in safari tourism. In safari tourism, they allow you to get close and personal with the animal itself. Madagascar is one of our favorites. It is an animation of group of zoo animals, including a hippo named Gloria. You can spend World Hippo Day watching the adventures of Gloria and zoo animal friends, or check your movie streaming service for another movie that features hippos. The population of hippos is dwindling in the wild. Many animal conservation organizations are working around the clock to prevent this animal species from going extinct, but they need your support to succeed. One way you can help is by making donations. Even $1 may save one hippo. Instead of swimming, hippos walk on or run along the riverbed. Hippos don't really swim. When sunbathing, the hippo secretes an oily reddish orange slime that protects their skin from ultraviolet rays and harmful bacteria. Hippos and whales share the same semi-aquatic ancestors that lived around 54 million years ago. The hippo's front teeth are tusks, which they use to defend animals or themselves against threats. Hippos have tusks as teeth. Despite their enormous size, hippos can run at a speed of 90 to 30 miles per hour, and hippos are faster than Usain Bolt. Hippos are currently identified as vulnerable species with about 1,15,000 to 1,30,000 remaining in the wild. Their declining population is attributed to poaching, loss of access to fresh water, merchandise farming, and urbanization. World Hippo Day brings people's attention to the threats that hippos face and encourages them to take action, either by educating other people, running a conservation effort, or donating to an animal conservation organization. Hippos are essential to the ecosystem. The hippo's dung or solid waste provides rivers and lakes necessary nutrients for the life in ecosystem to thrive. If hippos goes extinct, there will be a drastic reduction in certain fish species and algae populations, eventually leading to food shortages in African water bodies such as Lake Victoria. Hippos are the only mammal that lives both on land and water. It serves as a bridge between both worlds, taking nutrients from land and dumping them in water bodies. They have sensitive skin, yet are one of the most aggressive mammals. Despite their enormous size, they can still run faster than an Olympic sprinter. All these and more make the hippo a fascinating animal. Today is also commemorated as World Anthropology Day. It falls on third Thursday of February. So this day is set aside to celebrate the field and share information about anthropology with the public. Anthropology can be explained as a scientific study of humanity. It covers human behavior, biology, and how human societies function. It considers past and present information and looks likes to explore the future. Anthropology helps explain the origins of humans and what makes us unique as a species. It helps us understand how our world works, why we behave the way we do, and how we influence our environments. If you are looking for scholarships related to environment, you can check out science scholarships online to take up research on wildlife and sciences. The American Anthropological Association started World Anthropology Day in 2015. It was initially called the National Anthropology Day, but it was changed in 2016 to World Anthropology Day, which seemed more appropriate since anthropology is essential to the whole world and not just one nation. Anthropology studies the origin and development of human cultures as well as societies. It examines characteristics in the past and present communities using different scientific methods. Studying culture shows the learned behaviors of a people, their belief systems, institutions, languages, and social structures. The field investigates how various people in the world live over time. The study is required to present human objects in a clear and unbiased manner. To accomplish this, subjects are usually observed in their local environments. Anthropologists then use the process of ethnography to describe the local customs and interaction. Participating in the everyday lives of their subjects allows anthropologists to observe and explain the real purpose of people's cultures, institutions, and practices. This is an anthropological process called participant observation. To ensure that they are unbiased, anthropologists must assess their interpretations of the cultures and societies they study. This is to avoid ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is the biased view that all groups are less than another, and usually their personal, social, or cultural group. The goal of an anthropologist is to describe a society and its culture in the local people terms. The study of history becomes an integral part of Roman and Greek cultures. In 5th century, age of enlightenment, scholars seeks to understand society and behavior patterns that followed definite principles in 18th century. Two main theories, evolutionism and diffusionism, attempt to explain how societies develop. In 19th century, anthropologists began to understand different cultures independently without comparing them to European culture in 20th century. Anthropology helps to discover facts and information about everything, including politics, economics, food, race, parenting, and other topics that influence human life. Anthropologists and archaeologists usually work in research organizations, consulting firms, and the government. The branches of anthropology include archaeology, biological anthropology, cultural anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. Take time to learn something new about anthropology. You will find a topic area and find interesting. Enjoy having fun conversations about your favorite anthropology topics. Share some facts and learn something new. Share information about the holiday with friends and loved ones on social media. Someone may get to learn something beneficial. Anthropology studies human behavior, includes exploring cultural traditions, music, art, food, and human relationships. Some anthropologists study the detailed migration patterns of humans over the years. Anthropology considers human adaptations and changes. Anthropologists usually work as researchers or professors in universities. Most anthropologists earn a master's degree or doctorate and require higher education. It helps spread information about anthropology topics that affect our daily lives. The information helps us to understand life better and teaches others about our findings. It broadens our understanding. It allows researchers to share their work and enlighten the general public. It also paves the way for new research making our world progress. It celebrates researchers. It sparks interest in the field and creates awareness about anthropology, increasing people's interest in the field. It may also give people the opportunity to find out more about anthropology and decide if they would also like to become anthropologists. Today is also commemorated as World Cholangiocarcinoma, or also pronounced as cholangiocarcinoma. World Cholangiocarcinoma Day is observed on third Thursday in February from 2023 onwards. That is since last year, which is an international day that is observed to raise awareness about a very rare but aggressive type of cancer. It takes place on February 15th this year. There are around 11,000 cases of cholangiocarcinoma diagnosed each year in the United States. It is one of the rarest and most deadly forms of cancer. So, what exactly is cholangiocarcinoma and how it can be prevented? Cholangiocarcinoma is a rare type of cancer that develops in the bile ducts and small tubes that carry digestive fluids in and around the liver. It also affects the gallbladder. On World Cholangiocarcinoma Day, doctors, healthcare workers, cancer survivors, and activists come together to raise of this form of liver cancer. One of the main reasons why cholangiocarcinoma is regarded as the deadliest form of cancer is that it is difficult to diagnose. Currently, there are no specific screening tests to detect the disease. In fact, people impacted by disease often have no symptoms at all. Then, how do people identify this disease? In most cases, bile duct tumors are usually found during tests or procedures for other bile duct or liver conditions like gallstones. Another reason why disease is deadly is due to its nature. Cholangiocarcinoma impacts the liver and bile duct. A healthy liver is essential for ingestion and detoxification, but for parents touched by cholangiocarcinoma, the tumors in the bile duct prevent the liver from carrying out certain functions, resulting in conditions like jaundice, weight loss, abdominal pain, and toxin buildup in the system. So, identifying the disease early is an effective treatment option. Unfortunately, cholangiocarcinoma is a poorly understood and under-researched disease that is increasing in incidence globally. So, moving forward, let's all take a stand to follow healthy habits to maintain a healthy liver and help those who are battling cancer. Researcher Rodolphe Virchow identifies white blood cells in cancerous tissues, which marks inflammation and cancer in 1863. Hilario de Gouvet finds that susceptibility to cancer can be passed on from a parent to a child, the risk of inheriting it in 1886. President Franklin D. Roosevelt establishes the National Cancer Institute in 1937 in US. Congress passes the 21st Century Cures Act that provides funding for cancer research program in 2016. The main reasons why people get cancer are genetics and certain environmental or behavioral triggers. Some cancers are caused due to our lifestyle and habits. If the cancer is diagnosed in an early stage, the 5-year survival rate is 15%. The earlier it is diagnosed, the better the chances of recovery. Currently, surgery remains the only possibility for a cure for the disease. However, research is still going on, and let's hope a cure is found. If you are a survivor of this deadly disease, share your amazing story of battle and survival with this world. It might help and encourage others to fight against this disease. When identified at an advanced stage, the 5-year survival rate is less than 20%, and identifying it early is paramount. The total annual economic cost of cancer is estimated at US dollars 1.16 trillion. The economic cost of cancer. Cancer is the second leading cause of death worldwide. Cancer kills. More than half of all cancers are preventable. It used to be over 65s were most at risk, but it is a new trend over and above the age range in the past few years. World Cholangiocarcinoma Day is much needed day that raises awareness about one of the deadliest forms of cancer. Observing this day and spreading the news would help those in need. People who are affected by cholangiocarcinoma can visit the AMMF charity website that provides information and help regarding cholangiocarcinoma. We could also point them to the information. Coming together and observing this day not only helps raise awareness, but also contributes to promoting of research funding and funding to find a cure to this disease. If it is in your heart to donate, it will help a lot. Today is also commemorated as International Childhood Cancer Day, which is observed on February 15th every year and all over the world. The day raises awareness of childhood cancer and honors all the children and families experiencing the effects of the disease. It acknowledges their pain and difficulties, giving them space to process and grieve. Despite the advances in medicine and medical technology, cancer remains the leading cause of death by disease for children past infancy. Not only in childhood cancer traumatic, but it also requires specialized treatment and care. Pediatric oncology is an important field in medicine that works with cancer in children and devise strategies for treatment. Despite the advances in medicine and medical technology, cancer remains the leading cause of death by disease for children past infancy. Not only is childhood cancer traumatic, but it also requires specialized treatment and care. Pediatric oncology is an important field in medicine that works with cancer in children and devises strategies for treatment, pain management, and home care. Childhood Cancer International, a network of parent organizations that spans continents, instituted International Childhood Cancer Day to ensure that the children with cancer get the best possible care. The day every year, more than 4 lakh children, teenagers, and young adults under the age of 20 are diagnosed with cancer. While cancer is one of the leading causes of death from disease among children, the actual number of children who die because of cancer has reduced over the years. Most cancers have effective treatments and management methods that have increased the survival rate significantly. Childhood cancers require specialized treatment plans developed by international pediatric oncologists, and today it helps to publicize the existence of such treatments. International Childhood Cancer Day was also instituted to improve treatment rates and reduce the pain and suffering caused by cancer among children and around the globe. While the chances of full recovery for children with cancer can reach 80% in countries that have a high GDP, in the middle and lower income countries, the chances can slip poor. The ICCD focuses on the importance of equitable access for treatment for cancer among the children who are suffering or are survivors of cancer. It works to ensure that all over the world, children have access to the best possible care and can overcome the difficulties cancer poses to them and their quality of life. The initiative aims to make childhood cancer a priority in the world. It works in line with the WHO Global Initiative on Childhood Cancer towards a 60% survival rate for children with cancer. British surgeon Percival Porch discovered cancer of the scrotum to be common disease among chimney sweeps, which is the first discovery of its kind in 1775. First named candlelighters, Childhood Cancer Foundation. The non-profit charity organization is established by parents of children with a cancer. First named Candlelighters Childhood Cancer Foundation, the non-profit charitable organization, is established by the parents of children with cancer and is currently the only US member of Childhood Cancer International in 1970s. The largest patient support organization for childhood cancer in the world is founded in 1991 with Childhood Cancer International. International Childhood Cancer Day is instituted in 2002. The leading organization dedicated to addressing inequality in care for childhood cancer is founded with multiple programs across the continents, and World Child Cancer is founded in 2007. Fortunately, childhood cancer is curable. The majority of the children who receive treatment are cured. The three major childhood cancer types and lymphoblastic lymphoma, mature the three major childhood cancer types of lymphoblastic lymphoma, mature B cell lymphoma, and anaplastic large cell lymphoma, blood, brain, and nervous system based on cancers are most common among children. Cancer is fairly uncommon among children. It is a rare disease according to the US Rare Diseases Act of 2002, as it affects less than 2 lakhs people each year. Childhood cancer is a difficult disease to experience. Reach out to children with cancer and offer them comfort on this day. This is a great opportunity to ensure that people who need information about the treatments receive it. So spread information about childhood cancer and treatment options. Be part of the Tree of Life campaign. Childhood Cancer International works with the International Society of Pediatric Oncology on a campaign for cancer advocacy. Volunteer with these organizations to help amplify the message of hope and life-saving medication as part of the Tree of Life campaign. 99% of the cancers are found in adults, and only 1 in 285 children actually develop the cancer. Cancer is uncommon among children. Although cancer develops when cells change and start growing out of control, there is no known cause for this, especially in childhood cancers. Leukemia accounts for 29% of childhood cancer. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia and acute myeloid leukemia are two of the most common types of Although cancer develops when cells change and start growing out of control, there is no known cause for this, especially in childhood cancer. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia and acute myeloid leukemia are two of the most common types of cancer diagnosed among children under 50. Leukemia accounts for 29% of the childhood cancer. The global initiative on childhood cancer also focuses on developing permanent cures for childhood cancer. 1.16 trillion US dollars is the estimate of the total annual cost of cancer and its treatment as of 2010 and is expensive. Cancer is a difficult disease to live with. We respect the children who are enduring the pain and want to express our sympathy for them. We want to make sure that people who need information about treatments receive them. We also want to spread hope and the possibility of the best way to address childhood cancer is to raise awareness, raise funds for research, and make sure that children with cancer have access to treatment. We want to contribute and do our bit towards fighting cancer. Today is also commemorated as International Angel Man Day, which is observed on February 15 to create awareness about Angelman syndrome, a neurogenetic disorder affecting chromosome 15 that causes intellectual and developmental delays. Angelman syndrome is a rare disorder occurring in 1 out of 15,000 babies. It affects males and females actually. The name originated with the English pediatrician Harry Angelman, who initially referred to the condition of three of his patients as puppet children. Today, over 490,000 people live with Angelman syndrome worldwide. You can show your support by checking out community resources and wearing blue angel wings or ribbons. Williams founded the Angelman Research Group ARG to facilitate and support research and education concerning Angelman syndrome in 1986. By 1990, the ARG had formed the Angelman Syndrome Foundation. Two parents with children suffering from Angelman syndrome came up with the idea for International Angelman Day. National Angelman Syndrome organizers worldwide accepted this idea, and the unanimous date of February 15th was agreed on. The first commemoration of this day was in 2013. There was little data on this condition until 1982. Dr. Charles Williams and Dr. James Frias of the Department of Pediatrics at the University of Florida College of Medicine, Gainesville, successfully submitted a paper to the American Journal of Medical Genetics describing 6 patients and comparing their results to previous reports. The report included symptoms similar to those described by Angelman, including severe developmental delay, a puppet like gait, craniofacial abnormalities, and frequent laughter. Thus, Williams and Frias proposed the disorder to be named Angelman syndrome. Dr. Harry Angelman discovers Angelman syndrome symptoms, marks the initial discovery in 1956. Dr. Charles Williams and Dr. James Fraisse named the genetic disorder Angelman syndrome after Dr. Harry Angelman, the neurogenetic disorder, in 1986. Dr. Charles Williams and the Angelman Research Group started the Angelman Syndrome Foundation to educate and facilitate research on Angelman neurogenetic disorder in 1990. The idea for International Angelman Day starts with 2 affected families on different sides of the world in 2012. The first inaugural event for the International Angelman Day takes place in 2030. There are non-profit advocacy groups such as Angelman Syndrome Foundation or the Foundation for Angelman Syndrome. They are also therapeutics that offer support to patients and families. Angelman syndrome affects an estimated 1 in 12,000 to 20,000 people. The Angelman syndrome symbol is a blue ribbon or a blue set of wings. You can make a difference by using your skills and areas of interest, help others, and join the committee listed on the Angelman Foundation. Another way to observe International Angelman is by volunteering, either by assisting with the coordination with ASF walks or donating. Every little bit helps. Educate yourself about Angelman syndrome and help to create awareness. The more people know about the disease, the better. Children born with Angelman syndrome do not exhibit symptoms until 6 to 12 months. Avoid a wide range of clinical therapies, including medical treatment for seizures and physical communication and behavioral therapies, are offered to help patients achieve maximum development. The life expectancy for individuals with Angelman syndrome appears to be nearly normal. Angelman syndrome affects both males and females equally, affecting both genders. Genomic imprinting is a key phenomenon associated with Angelman syndrome, causes imprinting. International Angelman Day allows us to remember people with Angelman syndrome who have passed away. This process is also a vital step in the grieving process. International Angelman Day aids in raising global awareness about the condition and promotes collaboration in research and education. Spreading accurate information can be life-changing for people dealing with the syndrome. International Angelman Day creates a community for families with children who have the syndrome to come together for support and encouragement. A little support from someone who understands what you are going through makes a huge difference. Today is also commemorated as Make Mine Chocolate. In US, it is a campaign from February 15 to April 17. In 2002, the Columbus House Rabbit Society created the Make Mine Chocolate campaign to raise awareness about the alarming rate of rabbits acquired and disposed of casually during the Easter holiday season. These rabbits end up at the shelters and get euthanized or abandoned in the wild at the mercy of predators. The campaign seeks to educate the public against such behaviors and the unique needs of these fragile rabbits. They encourage parents to fight the impulse to buy a live rabbit as an Easter gift and rather opt for a plush, chocolate, or literary rabbits. You can also show your support during the Make Mine Chocolate campaign by wearing a ceramic bunny pin. Rabbits are an important part of the Easter holiday celebration. They are at the core of the holiday and even act as a mascot for Easter. It has become common to give live bunnies during this holiday season in recent years. Of course, the downside of this practice is disposal of rabbits after Easter. In 2022, the Columbus House Rabbit Society in Ohio, US started the Make Mine Chocolate campaign to address this issue. The campaign runs from February 15 to April 17. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign provides educational information to the public about the realities of living with and caring for the rabbits aspects. The campaign also highlights the cruel fate of abandoned rabbits at shelters in the wild. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign has become an international movement with the chocolate bunny ceramic pin as its symbol. A wide range of partners and advocates support the campaign's message and sentiment. One such partner is Columbus House Rabbit Society's sister organization, Make Mine Chocolate UK. The organization has taken on the responsibility of promoting of the campaign message across the UK. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign continues to spread its message of no live rabbits for Easter and encourages parents and the public to opt for giving chocolate rabbits to their friends and family instead of live living rabbits. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign encourages the public to get involved. The Columbus House Rabbit Society also holds events where they educate the public on how to cater the unique needs of rabbits when adopting them as pets. Rabbits are domesticated for the first time in 5th century AD. The Columbus House Rabbit Society starts the Make Mine Chocolate campaign in 2002. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign features in the New York Times Magazine in 2014. The Pets in the City magazine writes an article supporting the Make Mine Chocolate campaign and responsible pet adoption. Robert Strokecker made the first giant chocolate bunny in Germany in the mid 19th century. He displayed a 5-foot tall chocolate rabbit in his store to promote Easter. The chocolate Easter bunny organized in Germany but was adopted in America in the 19th century. Chocolate bunnies are hollow to allow chocolatiers to make them larger and make them easy to eat. Rather than giving live rabbits as a gift during the Easter period, opt for giving chocolate bunnies instead, or plush or literary bunnies, anything to protect our little furry friends. Join in spreading awareness of the Make Mine Chocolate campaign by sharing the cause on media, individually and also in groups. The more people are aware, the better. Support the Make Mine Chocolate campaign by purchasing high quality merchandise to spread no live bunny for Easter message. You can purchase merchandise from the Make Mine Chocolate website. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign promotes animal welfare, specifically for rabbits. Compared with chocolates, living rabbits require veterinary care, food, and enclosures, which add up during their lifetime. And it helps to save on expenses. 4 out of 5 rabbits brought during Easter end up abandoned or in the shelters, while few chocolate bunnies are abandoned. So it prevents animal cruelty. Rabbits can live 8 to 12 years or longer, which is a long term commitment compared to chocolate bunnies. So it's a buyer's remorse. An all volunteer non-profit organization started the Make Mine Chocolate campaign to support a non-profit organization. Domesticated rabbits cannot survive on their own. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign helps prevent the cruel fate of death abandoned rabbits face after Easter celebrations. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign creates awareness about the cruel fate of abandoned rabbits by utilizing multiple television and radio appearances and on social media posts leading up to the Easter holiday. See what you can do on this day to spread awareness. The Make Mine Chocolate campaign educates the public on the realities of having a rabbit as a pet and discourages giving living rabbits as Easter gifts. They go all out to ensure people know what they are in for. Today is also commemorated as Total Defense Day in Singapore, which is celebrated or observed annually on February 15, the day that Singapore surrendered to Japan in 1942 during the World War II. Total defense stands for Singapore's national defense concept, emphasizing that every aspect of the society contributes to the defense of a nation. Total Defense Day is observed as a reminder of what could happen if everyone failed to play their role in upholding the total defense strategy. In 1965, Singapore broke away from Malaysia and became its own independent state. The following year, in 1967, the mandatory enlistment of the able bodies, male 16 years and above, was implemented. By 1983, a 5 point total defense strategy was underway. The leadership recognized the need to make civilians a part of the creation and awareness generation of the strategy and founded the Civilian led Advisory Council on Community Relations in Defense. On January 22, 1985, total defense was officially declared to be Singapore's defense strategies. It consisted of 5 elements: military, civil, economic, social, and psychological. Much later in 2019, digital was added as a 6th element. In fact, there is even talk of adding climate as a 7th element, taking into consideration Singaporeans' vulnerability to climate change. Following the proclamation, campaigns were launched by the Ministry of Defense to promote total defense among schools, businesses, and people. The older the population that has witnessed the fall to Japan firsthand was reportedly enthusiastic about this strategy. There were even competition held by the creation of Total Defense logo and also song to get the community involved. So Total Defense has gotten the nation through some dire circumstances, even pulling them through the COVID-19 pandemic efficient. The first National Total Defense Day was observed on February 15, 1998. It marked by the Singaporean Civil Defense Force surrounding the important message. Take this day to learn more about total defense or what total defense is, why it came about, and what it stands for. There is much to learn even about its 6 individual pillars. Since everyone has a role to play, learn what you can to do, be an asset and play your part. This could mean participating in fire safety drills, learning CPR and first aid, etc. This involves armaments training and equipment for Singapore Armed Forces, as well as emphasis on revisit troops maintaining their physical strength. This is related to military defense. Civil defense include civilian participation through training in first aid, managing food, blood, and water resources, volunteer work being a medical frontliner, etc. This refers to the government's efforts to sustain the development of Singapore's economy and conserve essential resources. Economic defense refers to the government's efforts to sustain and develop Singaporeans' economy and conserve essential resources such as water. Social defense aims to maintain social cohesion through government efforts such as interfaith sessions through the interreligious organization. Psychological defense involves efforts on improved mental health in Singapore and strengthen resolve and resilience among its citizens. Decades of turmoil, hard work, and sacrifices have gone into making the world as we know it today. A day like this reminds us of those who lost their lives in the fight to ensure a better future. Thinking of nation falls to Japan and loss that followed by nudges. Those who forget why they have to show up for the country. With emergency preparedness drills and other defense preparation events being conducted nationwide, there is no excuse to not to participate. Is also commemorated as St. Skelter's Day, celebrated annually on February 15, which is just a day after the Valentine's Day. St. Skelter's Day allows singles to hate love in peace. The day is also celebrated by those who did not receive any cards or flowers the day before. Okay, fine, maybe not hate, but you know what we mean. Valentine's Day can be extra annoying when you are single, and we all been there single and irritated by the sight of the red and pink hearts. Couples doing mushy things or anything related to the love. The Valentine's Day or St. Valentine's Day is celebrated on February 14th every year. It was originally meant to be a day honoring two Christian martyrs named Valentine, but eventually came to be known as As the day made it was around the world, people began exchanging handwriting love notes. These rapidly grew in popularity, and the printers began producing mechanical valentines, such as a collection of doodles and love notes. This further turned into greeting cards, gifts, flowers, and before you know it, Valentine's Day became commercialized. Companies like Cadbury and Hallmark recognized the business opportunity and established themselves as key players in this holiday. It's all cute and lovable if you have someone to love and to be loved. However, Valentine's Day is anything but pleasant when you are single. No one wants to be surrounded by overpriced teddy bears, couples indulging in heavy PDA, and everything dressed up in red and pink packaging. Every V-Day reference is a reminder of how singles you are, and nobody enjoys that. And this is where Dr. Skelter's days come in. The day was created in 1998. The British comedian Richard Herring, in his words, Dr. Skelter's Day is a day for all the lost souls who don't have anyone to love, and it is devoted to the destruction of love. He said that there should not be any one day to give flowers, and you can do it any other day too. Besides thwarting the destruction of love, the day also calls for destruction of greeting cards and of people who simply won't shut up about their boyfriends or girlfriends. On the Skelter's Day, you do not have to buy any gifts for people or do anything special. Let's keep for the Valentine's Day. Saint Skelter is a fictional character created by Mattel, who is villain against the He-Man. Herring is an English stand-up comedian. He created Saint Skelter's Day. Skelter's Day is not a public holiday. Regular business hours are followed. Skeletor is a pitiless villain who commands an army of warriors from his headquarters in Snake Mountain. Skeletor's past is shrouded in mystery, but it is revealed that had once been a member of Evil Hardy and studied under Hordak, becoming his favorite people. As a result of Keldor's introduction to mythos, Skeletor is unwittingly the uncle of his archnemesis, He-Man. Skeletor was formerly Keldor, brother of King Randor. Today is also commemorated as Sovereignty Day of Serbia, also referred as Statehood Day in Serbia. It is a 2-day long celebration considered National Day in Serbia. Sovereignty Day of Serbia marks the first Serbian uprising in 1804, alongside the first Serbian constitution in 1835. If the day falls on a weekend, a weekday is usually given in its name in instead, and the holiday was observed for the very first time in 2001. On this day, citizens believe that the weather may indicate the harshness of the final days of winter. Today is also commemorated as Singles Awareness Day in US. If you are single and totally despise Valentine's Day in all of its commercial glory, this is a perfect holiday for you. Originally, Valentine's Day became a sad Single Awareness Day for people without significant others. So they decided to revolt and take that acronym back, and they choose empowerment and self-love instead of indulging in a self-loathing soiree. In the words of pop sensation Lizzo, true love finally happens when you are by yourself. Singles Awareness Day is now celebrated by loving yourself. Like all great movements, Singles Awareness Day was created from the feeling of isolation. Around 2001, Dustin Barnes decided to create a day for his group of friends to enjoy their singleness rather than drown in their sorrows. This group of high school boys not only chose February 15th as a protest of Valentine's Day, but also realized they could score candy and love themed items at a huge discount. What's better than chocolates and truffles? 50% off on chocolates and truffles, of course. Dustin carried the tradition from his high school on the Mississippi State University, where holiday gained popularity. Singles Awareness Day was legitimately copyrighted in 2005 and continued to grow from there. Considering that almost half of the US population is single, according to census results, it's no surprise that this day became so popular. College students began celebrating the day with their single friends by exchanging gifts, throwing parties, and going on friends' dates. Now, adults of all ages celebrate the day as a reminder that you don't need a relationship to celebrate love. You can love yourself, your family, and your friends. There's no reason to feel lonely around Valentine's Day when the love is all around you. The holiday continues to evolve as people own their singleness and express self love. Ultimately, Dustin found a singles church group where he met his wife. By celebrating Singles Awareness Day, you could potentially meet your future spouse. You never know. Today is also commemorated as Remember the Maine Day in US. Is the remembrance of American battleship USS Maine, which unexpectedly sank in Cuba, killing 266 crew members. On February 15, 1898, there was a mysterious explosion followed by the sinking of the ship. This led to political turmoil, a naval blockade, and ultimately a declaration of the war. The USS Maine was one of the America's first battleships. Following much deliberation by the Naval Advisory Board, the construction of two 6,000-ton warships was approved, the Maine and the Texas. There were a representation of significant advancements by the US Navy and were considered to be a class of their own. In January 1898, the Marine went from Florida to Cuba for the protection of US interests during the Cuban War of Independence. About 3 weeks later, on February 15th at 9:40 p.m., an explosion occurred on the ship in Havana Harbor. That there was an instant wreckage and the boat sank to the bottom of the harbor. Of the 355 crew members on board, 266 were killed in an accident, 260 died on the spot, and 6 of them succumbed to their injuries later. The immediate reaction to the devastating incident was to find the cause. While the official cause of the explosion is unknown to this day, there were several widely believed theories. The US Naval Court of Inquiry determined that a mine was caused the explosion, and the American press ran with it. America blamed the Spanish for the explosion, although there was no evidence to prove that they did it. This infuriated Americans, and slogans such as "To hell with Spain, remember the Maine" were heard across the country. While this wasn't the sole cause of the war against the Spanish, it created a disturbing relationship and hostile environment. Eventually, the United States went to war against Spain in April and was victorious. A war ending treaty was signed in December and Cuba gained independence, though with a strong US influence still. Later, investigators pointed to the possibility that something within the ship had caused the explosion and sinking of Maine. Though the cause remains inconclusive, we can't ignore the lives that were lost during the unfortunate incident. February 15th is a day to remember the 266 brave souls who perished in their jobs protecting their country. It is a day to remember the Maine in the US. Today is also commemorated as Parinirvana Day or Nirvana Day in US to commemorate the death of Buddha when he attained complete nirvana or parinirvana. Buddhism is a religion based on the teachings of Gautam Buddha, a Hindu who lived between the 5th and 4th centuries BC. Parinirvana Day marks the physical death of Buddha, It is celebrated with some countries in East Asia on February 8th and in Bhutan on the 15th day of 4th month of Bhutanese calendar. According to Buddhism, to attain parinirvana, one must understand the Four Noble Truths. The history of Parinirvana Day begins with the birth of Siddhartha Gautama. The Buddha was born in the 5th century BC in Lumbini, present day Nepal. According to the Buddhist writings, he was born to King Suddhodana and Queen Maya. But many scholars argue that he was born in the Shakya community, which was ruled by a republic like council, and he must be from one of those ruling families. Being moved by the suffering of life and death and its endless repetition due to rebirth, Gautama renounced his title and inheritance. He embarked on a journey to find liberation from suffering nirvana. Gautama took up this Shramanastic life and went to study under two teachers of meditation. The first was Arada Kamala, also known as Alara Kamala, under which he attained nothingness. But that did not bring an end to his suffering. The second teacher was Udraka Ramaputra, under which he attained a state of neither perception nor non perception. But that also did not help him solve the problem of suffering. Gautama decided to put himself under the harshest ascetic disciplines, including strict fasting and breath control. That also didn't address the problem of suffering. He forewent asceticism and turned to the meditative practice of dhyana. According to the legend, he went to Bodh Gaya, where he sat beneath the Bodhi tree and vowed to remain in the state of meditation until he understood the meaning of living without suffering. In his deep meditative state, Gautama attained awakening and became the Buddha, the enlightened one. Upon becoming the Buddha, Gautama began teaching his doctrine. Dharma initiated monks into his Sangha order and trained nuns. He allowed his disciples to spread his teaching across India using the local language or dialects as the communication medium. Gautama died at the age of 80 in Kushinagar, India, attaining the final nirvana, parinirvana. His death has been celebrated every year since then. Vesak celebration celebrates the birth of the Buddha in contrast to Parinirvana Day, which celebrates his death. Also, Vesak is celebratory while Parinirvana Day is more reflective, similar to Christianity, where Christmas is more festive than Easter. The Four Noble Truths say life is suffering. The causes of suffering is craving. The end of the suffering comes with an end to craving. And the way to end suffering is by following the Eightfold Path. Nirvana in Buddhism means a cessation of dukkha or a release from worldly suffering and rebirths in samsara, endless rebirth. Buddhists mostly celebrate Parinirvana Day by meditating, which is one of the cornerstones of their religion. Meditation serves to clear the mind and promote positive thinking. There are no rules to meditation as everyone has a technique that works for them. But most people meditate in a quiet place, sitting on a cushion or a mat with their legs crossed and focusing on breathing. If you are not sure about how to meditate, you can take meditation classes or read books on meditation. This is another way you can celebrate Parinirvana Day. You can visit a Buddhist temple or monastery near you and partake in the festivities. You can also make donations to the monastery or bring the beauty of Parinirvana Day is that it encourages people to reflect on their immortality and death. According to Buddhist teaching, life is temporary And it's only by dissociating yourself from the temporary things of life that you can attain nirvana. You can use this day to remember dead loved ones and ponder on your immortality. Western scholars coined the word Buddhism in the 1830s, which is a Western Buddhism. Buddhism is a minority religion in India. Although the Buddha first taught Buddhism in India, only 1% of Indians identify as the followers of religion. According to the 2010 Pew Research Center, half of the world's Buddhists live in China. Buddhism is mainly practiced in China. Buddhists follow the Dharma, which focuses on meditation and mindfulness and made no mention of a supreme being or created God. Buddhists do not believe in a God. Buddhism is the fourth largest religion in the world with more than 520 million followers. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was the founder of Buddhism, whose death began the Parinirvana festival. Like Christmas celebrate the death of Jesus on Easter, Buddhists on Parinirvana Day also celebrate the death of the person whose teachings they follow. Buddhism teaches that everything is temporary and death is normal part of life since everything must end. Although reflection, you will come to understand that and accept the deaths of loved ones and your future death. Buddhists believe that our clinging to the temporary phenomena produces karma, trying us to cycle of death and rebirth. By letting go, we achieve nirvana and end rebirth. The Buddha achieved nirvana before he began his teachings and attained the final nirvana, parinirvana, upon his death. Today is also commemorated as National I Want Butterscotch Day in US. Is an day that celebrates creamy sweetness of butterscotch. Butterscotch started its journey from a small town in Yorkshire before blowing all over the world. It evolved from just being candy to becoming an essential topping on all desserts and sweets. Butterscotch is mainly made from brown sugar and butter. The other ingredients that are sometimes used in addition to these primary ingredients are corn soup, other ingredients that are sometimes used in addition to these primary ingredients are corn syrup, cream, vanilla, and salt. The brown sugar is boiled to 1150 Celsius and then mixed with other ingredients. There are different theories, but none have been conclusive on how butterscotch got its name. One theory says that the butterscotch is associated with Scotland, hence the word scotch. Another explanation is that scotch means to cut or score, as butterscotch needs to be cut into pieces or starch before hardening. The first mentions of butterscotch were in the town of Doncaster in Yorkshire, England. It appeared in an 1848. Today is also commemorated as National Gumdrop Day in US. Americans love their candy and luckily several days have been set aside to celebrate specific candies. like National Gumdrop Day on February 15th. Gumdrops are unique in that they are not only fun to eat, but they also make great decorations. People have crafted gumdrops for years, and because they come in so many shapes, sizes, and colors, gumdrops guarantee festive decors. Gumdrops, one of the America's most beloved sweets, is a chewy gelatin candy, most often flavored with fruits or spices. In their most traditional form, gumdrops are sugar coated and shaped like a small dome or drop. But they have evolved, and you can now find them with smooth coatings and in terms of fun shapes and sizes. Gumdrops, if kept in an unopened package and stored in a cool place, will last up for up to 12 months. If you choose to use them for crafting, they will, of course, become hard, but that's okay as long as you don't try to eat them later. Today is also commemorated as National Flag of Canada Day in Canada. This day marks the inauguration of the present flag of Canada with the red maple leaf. The flag signifies the common values that unite all citizens of Canada: equality, diversity, and inclusion. The history of Canada's red and white maple leaf flag is quite eventful. Although Canada's quest for a national flag had begun in the late 19th century, the current version of the flag only emerged during the 1960s. Even after Confederation in 1867, Canada showcased the Royal Union flag of the United Kingdom as its own. By the 1870s, the red ensign, a combination of the Union Jack and the Shield of Canada, began to be used unofficially as a national symbol. As Today is also commemorated as National Black Girl Magic Day in US. This day celebrates the beauty, power, and resilience of Black women. The day also raises awareness of the issues faced by Black women, especially those that are discriminatory or racist. Activists took look at corporate, medical, cultural, and social aspects of America and how they affect Black women. National Black Girl Magic Day hopes to bring change by example and create a future where every Black girl and woman gets equal representation to their white counterparts. National Black Girl Magic Day takes place on February 15th, and while Black women should be celebrated every day, a special day of recognition is a reminder of how remarkable Black women are. Black Girl Magic was created by C.A. Sean Thompson in 2013 when she started the movement Black Girls Are Magic. The campaign name has been since shortened and popularized as Black Girl Music or Magic. The campaign has found takers in both men and women alike. C.A. Sean spoke about Gloria Richardson, the civil rights. Today is also commemorated as Louis Ngai Anni in India. Every year on February 15th in the northeastern state of Manipur in India. The rural festival is indeed to bring together the many tribes of Naga people in state. Even though Louis Ngai Ni is an important festival in the state of Manipur, those willing or those living outside of it are very likely to celebrate it. Various cultural activities are part of the festival. People celebrate the day by wearing traditional clothes, beating drums, and dancing to folk songs. The day is filled with merriment. Lui and Gaini is celebrated all the Naga inhabited areas in Manipur, and the main festivities hosted alternatively to Today is also commemorated as Love Reset Day in US, which is a day after Valentine's Day. For many, the day of love can be rude awakening when they realize that traditional romance is not as fulfilling as it seems, leading to a journey of self-discovery and self-love. The Love Reset Day started as 30-day challenge that gives people the opportunity to evaluate the quality of their relationship. Be worthy love and love will come. This is a famous quote from Lucy May Alcott's classic novel, Little Women, and it is very much applicable today. It is very easy to project one's expectations and repeat patterns in their relationships, which is why it is important to focus inward and be compassionate to yourself. It must be said, although, that self love doesn't mean today is also commemorated as Liberation Day of Afghanistan. So, Liberation Day in Afghanistan commemorates the final departure of the Soviet army from the country, and on the same date in 1989. The Soviet Afghan War was fought for nearly 10 years, and close to 2 million Afghani civilians were killed in the conflict. Today is also commemorated as Liberation Day in Afghanistan to commemorate the final departure of Soviet Union from the country on the same date in 1989. The Soviet Afghan War was fought between nearly 10 years, and close to 2 million Afghani civilians were killed in the country. The Soviet Afghan War was a Cold War. Era proxy was fought between the Soviet Army and the Mujahideen, backed by the US and UK, China, Iran, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. By the end of the war in 1989, Afghanistan had lost to their By the end of the war in 1989, Afghan had lost close to 11.5% of population plus 7 million years, sorry, plus 7 million Afghans had become either internally displaced or persons or refugees in countries such as Pakistan. Today is also commemorated as Day of Ashkalia, Kosovo. So to appreciate the importance of Ashkali community in Kosovo, Kosovo is a nation that has people hailing from many races and cultures. The Ashkali people were viewed as second-class citizens. They suffered discrimination during the early days. Their flag day is now considered a public holiday in Kosovo. The day is dedicated to ending discrimination against community and not promoting education among the Ashkali children. They suffered discrimination during the early days. Their flag day is now considered a public holiday in Kosovo. It's a day to raise our voices against racial, cultural, and religious discrimination against other people. Kosovo is one of the newest nations in the world, but the region in which it is located has its fair share of story. Finally, today we are commemorating the last commemoration, Annoy Squidward Day in US. SpongeBob's fans celebrate Annoy Squidward Day on February 15th every year. The famous show regularly are familiar with Squidward, the unsatisfied co-worker of SpongeBob, and how annoyed he is with the antics of his all too cheerful co-worker. Annoy Squidward Day is actually a reference to one of the episodes in which Squidward becomes aspirated by SpongeBob and declares it to be Annoy Squidward Day. Fans seem to have picked on the jungle on this joke and turned it into an annual holiday in real life. The day gives fans an opportunity to celebrate their love for these delightful characters and come up creative ways to mark his holiday. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Night. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of votes.